Okay, the only thing you can do right now is wait for the weather. One, the helicopters are pretty much useless because of the high winds and low visibility. The ground teams that they have deployed up there, and there's 4 different teams on different parts of the mountain, are holed up, and they're waiting until the weather can break. We're waiting here until the weather can break and conditions become better for looking, because you can't send people out in the dark looking.
How miserable is it up there, Jeff?
We've got reports of 60-mile-an-hour winds, visibility of maybe 20 feet. It's a whiteout up there.
What's the possibility of it being clearer at the top, setting down on the top, or dropping a crew on the top and having them come down? Is that possible?
We've thought of that, and the only way the conditions will let us do that is if the winds drop. I've got a hunch that the very top of the mountain is sticking out of the clouds, but the winds may not let us land.
What would somebody have to do in order to survive conditions like this? What would you have to do?
Dig in deep and huddle and get warm.
I'm Joe Donlin for KGW News. May 12th, 1986, students, teachers, and a guide from the Oregon Episcopal School Base Camp program began a climb of Mount Hood. They expected to climb the mountain and be home by the end of the day. But as they neared the summit, a fierce storm descended, so they turned around. As they worked their way down the mountain, the storm got much worse, blinding even, with sub-zero temperatures and 60-mile-an-hour winds. So they dug in. What we're going to share with you is the minute-by-minute account from the time rescue teams were called in. There'll be no narration, only the voices of rescuers we recorded as they battled to try to reach the climbers. It is a sad story. In the 3 days after they started their climb, 9 people would lose their lives, 4 would survive. It was a tragedy, and some say a miracle that anyone made it off the mountain alive.
It's the worst you could be in right now because you can't travel, you can't see where to go. Even if you had a compass, it's a little scary because you don't know what the ridges are doing or what the cliffs are doing or what. So you basically have to stop, dig in, build a snow cave, and stay there.
These people were prepared to climb and back in one day. They're not prepared to camp.
Correct, yeah. They weren't ready to camp out overnight.
So they don't have much in the way of, you wouldn't have bags, tents, anything like that.
Right, they don't have anything to stay overnight in.
That's a big group up there.
Yeah, it was more or less a high school fun climb, and conditions this time of year aren't bad to usually go, but the weather came in real quick on them.
What's going to have to happen with that weather to let the helicopters get in?
Wind's going to have to drop considerably.
You got no hope of getting in now?
Not now.
At this point, we do have a location on the students and on the 4 adults that were with them. Everybody is all right. They're cold. They're dug in. We have 50 to 60-mile-an-hour winds up there. The weather is severe, but everybody is in good medical condition. 2 people hiked out from that group. One of the guides, the adult, and one of the young girls. They're at another ski lodge. They're going to come up here immediately. We do know the area that they're in, and as soon as the weather is permitting, we're going to move in and we're going to get them out of there.
What does weather permitting mean? It's pretty bad right now. It's forecast to be that way. What do you
That's right. They're dug in. They're safe. Anything less than 50, 60-mile-an-hour winds. At that, my people couldn't get very far with those kind of winds. The safest spot is for everybody to stay into their holes, and as soon as the weather breaks and everybody is in good condition at this time, then we can come out and we can go to where they're at.
So you actually reached them? You actually got to this point where they were, and you?
No, we have only the area pinpointed.
How do you know that?
Well, because of the people that came down. They gave us a location of
where are they located now?
Of where they're dug in. Well, they're dug in down off of White River, off of a glacier, at the foot of a glacier.
How far down on the mountain? How far down on the mountain?
I'm trying to think. I'm guessing about 9,000, but I can't tell you for sure. I'd have to go back and check the maps to give you the exact.
And the 2
location.
that walked out, where did you make contact with them, and where are they now?
They're down at Meadows.
Meadows.
Yeah, the other ski lodge down the road down here. Right?
Meadows. Okay.
Okay, now you're gonna wait here then and organize your
Well, we
rescue effort
coordinate
from here?
That's right, we're gonna coordinate from here. We still have our climbers up there dug in, okay? And as soon as they can move, then we'll work them over to where the people are at.
I was wondering if the sheriff had any questions, though, about...
I'm sure he'll have lots of questions. What are the conditions up there on the mountain?
Windy, can't see very much, it's a whiteout. That's why we stopped eventually, we couldn't see very 10 feet ahead of ours.
What was
What
the
happened
condition of
last
the
night?
people this morning?
Cold, wet, wanting to go home.
When did you see them last?
I guess this morning, it's the first light we left. I'm not sure what time that was, because I couldn't find a watch, but it was quite early. And it was really crowded in the snow cave. We had some problems with breathing and that kind of thing in
What
there,
happened last night exactly?
Well, we were trying to find our way back down. We came about 14 feet from the summit, and we had some problems with hypothermia with kids, and got lost on our way down trying to use a compass, and we couldn't see, and we finally decided to stop because it was quite late and gonna get dark.
So you set out to build a cave at the time?
Right. We
How long-
built a snow cave.
How
long
did
did
that
it
work?
take?
Good couple of hours. We set up a tarp in the meantime and tried to keep people huddled under there and warm until the snow cave could
How's
be
the mood of the
completed.
people? Anybody real frightened, or did you have?
Pretty good, I'd say, considering the circumstances. Everyone is looking out for each other and trading gloves. This morning when I left, I borrowed some gloves and a hat from other people who were in there, and
Are most
really
of the
well.
people experienced climbers, or?
no, most people are sophomores, and this is a base camp program at our school, and
A base
nothing
camp
like
program?
this has happened.
What happened? What was the night like last night in the cave there? What was that like? Cold?
Not yet cold, a little dozing off from now and then. We had to make sure our entrance to the cave would get covered with snow a lot, and we'd have to dig our way out quite often to get enough air.
How long did it take you to walk from the snow cave to Meadow, to where you made contact with?
I'd say 2 or 3 hours.
You were scared at any point? Did you think that you might be in danger? Really seriously in danger?
Yeah.
What was going through your mind?
That I might not see my mom again, and that I might not, it's scary to think that I've done this a couple times before, and I wasn't prepared for anything like this. I didn't bring the proper equipment for something like this, and it was frightening. It's
On the way,
frightening to
on the
think
way
that-
up, was the weather good?
When we started out, it was windy, but visibility was good.
It was just on the way down.
Yeah, it's pretty scary not to be able to see where you're going, and
You couldn't see how, if.
no, we couldn't see anything. There was no distinction between like the sky and the snow. It was just like all one white blur.
And I'm sure that they're around in the corner to the right.
I think it might be down here.
If it gets there, over.
I don't know. I had told in my map about the car.
Team 3 and 4, this is rescue base, over. Say again? What's your status, Team 3?
We're waiting for instructions. We're ready to move out.
I wouldn't be opposed as to sending them out ahead.
We don't see any point in waiting for the other group to come.
What are your weather conditions like over there? Belvedere, Steen, and how many?
I don't think we're gonna have any severe.
Because I'm gonna go order the food right now.
Well,
Need to
maybe
know
by the time
who
they
are you
get
gonna
to a
send
cat
out?
or something,
Okay, with
how
how
many
many?
kids that,
No, I'm gonna send 2, 3, 4 out right now.
There you go. Here. Here.
So we got 1, 2, 3. Where's the other guy?
One more here. Yeah, let's do it like these.
Where's the other chopper?
I don't know.
Oh, there he is up there.
You want new pictures? Is that what you're looking for?
No.
There they are. I see them.
Yep, I do too.
It's too low.
This camera. No. I don't know. I don't know if you guys said that. I want
Why don't you first all give us your name so we all got it right?
Master Sergeant Richard Harder, 304th Air Rescue. ARDER.
What do you have up there?
We just so far have found 3 deceased individuals up there, and we're scammering the whole mountain trying to find the other individuals. We've had a lot of situations where people have survived. We just got to find them.
Have you in fact located a snow cave where you hoped that they were holding out?
No, we haven't found no snow cave as yet.
What did you see when you first spotted those people? Were they?
We just spotted a red like sleeping bag. Yesterday the climbing conditions were probably some of the worst I've ever been in. 60-mile-an-hour winds, and we could only see approximately 2 feet in front of us, and it was extremely dangerous for everybody to be out there. And we had climbers out all last night.
Your men had the best equipment available. These kids did not. Your people couldn't stand it up there yesterday. Is there any way that these 8 could have made it?
If you can get yourself into a shelter, dig yourself into a shelter, you'll be able to survive. Yesterday we dug ourselves into a shelter. It was so bad for us, and then the wind changed and our shelter filled up. So hopefully they're into a good shelter, and now they're working their way somewhere down the mountain. Hopefully we'll be able to spot them by ground people or by the helicopter.
Is that snow cave going to be difficult to find at this point?
We have to have somebody come out of the snow cave. We have to be able to have some piece of cloth or anything so we can see them. What I plan on doing now is gridding off the whole mountain and deploy people by snowshoes and also by skis down, and then plus have the helicopter fly also all the major routes down, and hopefully we'll be able to spot something by air or by ground. No, we're not ruling out anywhere. You can, if you get up high and you get disoriented, you have a common tendency to go down over here. And,
are there any tracks to lead you to believe that some did in fact walk?
No, you can't. There's no tracks. It was blowing so hard yesterday, the wind and snow, or at least a couple feet of snow up there blew you down yesterday.
After you've been up there for 2 hours, it's clear, you can see virtually everything. Shouldn't you have spotted them by now if there's a chance?
I think they might be huddled down into an area, you know, in some rocks or something, and they are just haven't got up as yet, or they might be past where we're at right here and down in the treed area, and we'll not be able to see them because they're in the trees, and that's why we're going to have people on snowshoes and skis go all the way down to the highway, and hopefully someone will spot them.
Was it the guys in the cats that actually came upon the bodies under the directions from the people in the helicopters?
No, we found everybody by helicopter.
These people here are two of the subjects that earlier were described as fatalities. They're being rushed in their state,
which is
frozen at this point, to the hospital for a doctor who is awaiting them and to give them emergency care, okay?
Now, you say they're, I don't mean to pursue this terribly, but you say that these are the people who were described as...
Fatalities.
Okay.
Fatalities on the mountain earlier. I may have a possible third one, but I have not received that person. There are still 8 people missing, and the search is continuing.
The winds have calmed down, and we're getting pretty good search coverage. We're looking for any tracks or sign. We've got some tracks of the folks that walked out, and we're doing a real intensive search to try to find any evidence we can of the snow cave and the remaining survivors in the mountain.
How hard or easy is the search? It doesn't look like it's working too well.
There's a lot of people looking. We're getting good coverage in terms of the ease of the search. The winds are still a little tricky up on top. We think we've gotten relatively good coverage. We've been involved in these before, and we're going to keep searching until we get some pretty positive indications one way or the other.
How hard is it to see a snow cave on a snowy mountain?
There's a lot of different indications in terms of the snow cave. There's depressions. There may be some sort of a pack or something sticking out. There's also a possibility that the snow blew over the top of them. We don't know what the possibilities are, but we're doing everything we can to try to find them. The people we have on board are real experienced in terms of looking for that type of situation.
Can I get your first full name?
It's Kenneth.
Kenneth McFadden.
That's correct.
The rank is?
Major.
Major. You got that? Yeah. What's the mood, Father? What are...
It's obviously sad, but very beautiful. People are caring for each other. Sometimes there are people hugging each other and crying, and sometimes people just being quiet. It's a real tribute to the community spirit that has built up amongst these parents in the last few days.
What's the feeling among the Vista Hellas will turn out? I know that I'm sure there's some optimism, I'm sure there's some pessimism. How would you characterize things?
It's not something we're talking about very much. We're just not talking about that very much.
Are people talking with each other, staying together, or what's?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Helping each other. How many people are sort of helping each other out?
I don't know how many there are. People sort of come and go. The largest group, I guess, has about 25 in it when we're all there, and sometimes as few as 10 to 15.
Becoming a close-knit group there. How would you characterize the way the group is
Very close. Very close. Very loving.
How is this experience affecting you?
It's very hard. It's very difficult and hard indeed.
Are there any particular kinds of things you can say as a headmaster of these folks? What kinds of things can you say about them?
Well, I've been more as their priest than their headmaster on this occasion. I do share with them the great love they have for their children, and also the love we all have for the two faculty members. We have been praying together. We said Mass together the first thing in the morning. Bishop of Oregon is here, and he's a great support.
Oh, you got 4?
Yeah,
We'll
let's
take
take
2.
two.
Okay, we're going to take 2 up, and we'll go from there. We'll show you the avalanche. I mean, where we think they might crevasse where they might be, and I'll be up there. Sergeant Ross will be in charge of the probing line with Sergeant Lindsay, and we'll show you where we think they're at. Okay, and we'll just take direction from you.
Every other weekend, these particular dogs are trained for both avalanche and wilderness rescues, so they're trained to look for people that are underneath the snow.
Is there any way to tell what their percentage, what their success rate is? Or?
Well, they always are successful because that's the way they're trained. They never know when they're either training or they're on a real mission. When we train, we bury people in the snow so they know.
What's going on up here right now? Yeah.
I'm up by the pool. I gotta grab something quick to drink. Take 2 up front. We'll go past.
That was
Sergeant Harkness, this is Sergeant Harder.
No, I want to get a hold of Harkness. Sergeant Harkness is better. PJ King, this is Sergeant Harder.
Go ahead, Banger, this is PJ King.
Okay, Gabby, this is what we're doing. One of the climbing leaders is going to come on down to the deployment site where you are in Gidding. And what we're going to do is go and fly and land at that site. And I want you to take him back up the hill, and we'll put him in the helicopter on the left side. Copy.
Say again, Banger.
We would just like to have just one person. Copy.
Basically intended for skiers, but
The weather was really nice. It's very warm up there. There's not much wind. People are working really hard. Half of the crew is staying up there. They're eating their lunch up there. And then with this team going up, they're going to continue the search. And then we're going to go in, take a break, and go back up until the light fails.
How are the spirits?
Good. You know, I think people are pretty realistic. You know, we're working hard. I think we're just doing a job and doing the best that we can.
Apparently you've covered all the ground there is to be covered. What do you do next? I mean, you just
No, we haven't. There's a lot of ground up there. We're doing the best that we can. We're going to the places that we think are the most likely to search and see what we can come up with. If that doesn't pan out, we'll go to the next likely place. We have a lot of people up there. I think we had about 40 people up there when we left.
From an individual standpoint, what's going through your mind when you're up there like that?
Most of the time I'm just working. And I'm just trying to keep my energy up. If I think about the people, I get upset, and that doesn't help me to do my job. And so I'm just trying to work and be as efficient a member of the group as possible. I'm really tired.
No talk of giving up now.
I haven't heard anything like that. I certainly am not going to give up.
There we go.
There's probably some things that are just causing some that are...
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in and get some water. I gave the last of my water away to the folks who are staying up there.
nice day, you know. There's just nothing to find, that's all.
What do you think about it? Is it just because of the job? I mean, you have to concentrate on...
I'm a climber, so I like to help out other climbers.
I wasn't there when they got in trouble, so I don't know. I couldn't speculate on that, but the conditions were really severe. I heard there were 50, 60-mile-an-hour winds. I heard big 230-pound men would get blown around, and when you have a lot of wind and a pack and you're tired and it's cold, that wears on you. Well, today everybody is mobilized in one area. Yesterday there were I don't know how many teams by the time they brought everybody off the mountain at 9 o'clock. Yesterday there were different groups in different areas. I went out in the morning, went out in the afternoon yesterday, and I was in 2 different areas. Today everybody's in one area searching for the snow cave and the tarp with the gear underneath it. No. No, not when you're working. It's okay. It's okay if you're busy. I think that's how it is for me. I can't speak for other people.
When does it get tough? When you're resting?
Mm-hmm. When I don't have anything to do. It's nice at this point. I think exhaustion takes over, and I think I'd fall asleep pretty quick. But yesterday, I remember I came down, and I was lying in the ski patrol room. That's sort of where I have all my stuff. And I was just lying there, and there was a paper there, and I thought, oh, I'll read the paper. And there on the front page was a picture of these folks going up on Tuesday, I guess, and they were riding up on a snowcat. It was the Oregonian, and you could tell, boy, the weather was miserable, for those rescuers going up there. That just snow and wind was just blowing, and and I thought about the people up there, and they weren't comfortable. And that was hard. I got up and went to talk to some people after that. I'm really, really impressed by all the hard labor that's going on. The Red Cross here is doing a tremendous job. They are feeding everybody. They are there. They're up at 5 o'clock with breakfast. They have, real special foods for us. They are feeding us and taking care of us. And just the Portland Rescue folks, they're doing a heck of a job. I mean, the logistics of this is tremendous. I can't even begin to conceive of the logistics of this, and they are doing it, and we're just up there. We're the manpower, which is necessary, but there's a lot of work involved, and I just think of that, and it's kind of an emotional subject anyway, thinking about, what's going on with the climbers, and I think about the Portland Rescue folks and the Red Cross, and I get real emotional thinking about it, because they are doing superhuman work. They're really, really holding down the fort, really taking care of everything.
At this time. This is University Medical Resource. We call it Code 1000. All facilities moving in case silent or go to dispatch frequencies at this time until further notice. Portland Fire, this is University Medical Resource. You copying on your frequency. We have a rate of about 40. Copy. Second patient's rate is 30. Copy. Copy. Okay, we wondered if we can't get IVs. We're wondering about giving lidocaine intermuscular. Copy. Copy. Are the patients All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Sergeant Carter, we have another MD.
The only thing that worries me is the definition they use for alive. They termed the others not dead on arrival, the 3. With this hypothermia, I don't know. 45-degree body temperature, not real alive, but I have to see.
How was it? He's shaky, but he was conscious. He was looking at us. He knew we had him. And that's really about all I can give you. He'll be taken off momentarily. Excuse me? Oh. Big weights off the shoulders. Excuse me.
Can you tell us where that trophy came from now?
when they got to the hospital, understand core temperature was 47 degrees, and nobody has ever been brought back from 47 degrees. It's as far as I know.
If they're barely breathing or if they die right in front of you, we want them, because I think that's when we will have the best chance for success. And so they didn't feel like they were going to make the decision at that point, and they would leave it in our hands, and so that's the way it worked out. We knew that it was probably less than a 1% chance of success, but you know, until you do it and you set it up into a sort of a controlled scientific approach, we at least will know as a result of this effort what won't work and what will work.
Doctors have just notified us that complications have arisen in the recovery of 15-year-old Giles Thompson, the first climber to be taken off the mountain yesterday. With me right now is Barbara Hood. She is an assistant administrative director here at Providence Hospital. Barbara, what can you tell us about these latest complications?
Well, I can only tell you that he is experiencing a bleeding problem, that it is very serious, that the problem is a complication of tissue injury as a result of the extreme cold that he experienced. There are a team of physicians working with him now. A hematologist is there, and they are trying interventions to control the bleeding.
Right now, he is listed in critical condition. That is down from critical but stable. At Emmanuel Hospital, 15-year-old Brenton Clark continues to make progress tonight, and we'll have an update for you as soon as further details become available.
We're going to probe light, and he was down there by himself. Irvin Dugan had him off the leg and found.
Thompson of Longview, Washington, and Clark of Portland were the only ones to survive the ordeal of 3 nights huddled in a snow cave at the 8,300-foot level of the mountain. 6 others discovered in the cave Thursday could not be revived. Those who perished include 15-year-old Richard Hayter, 15-year-old Patrick McGinnis, 15-year-old Tasha Amy, and 17-year-old Susan McClave. Also dead are the Reverend Thomas Goman, a 42-year-old instructor of mathematics, religion, and physics, and Marion Penneter Horwell, the 41-year-old Dean of Student Affairs and Residence. 3 other students were discovered Wednesday, their bodies not far from where the snow cave was eventually found. Allison Litzenberger, Aaron O'Leary, and Eric Sandvik. Each was 15 years old.
17-year-old Molly Shula and guide Ralph Summers were the 2 who hiked out for help. Molly said the blizzard was so bad there was no distinction between sky and snow. Hundreds worked to find the climbers, volunteers, an army of medical and rescue personnel. And this sad note to the story, helicopters had actually landed only feet away from the cave but didn't know it. The cave opening had been buried under 4 feet of snow. In the weeks and months after the disaster, the entire state grieved the loss, and there were a lot of questions. In the years since, that tragedy led to several changes at the school, their programs, and even within the mountaineering and rescue community. Some say we lost our innocence about the mountain those 3 days, and it certainly taught everyone that in a state known for its stunning beauty, there is danger being so close to the raw power of nature. For KGW News, I'm Joe Donlin.